Hey YouTubers, happy Homebrew Wednesday. So, what am I drinking tonight? This is a sample from my smash beer I did last Friday on my Beer Fun Friday. Like I said, it's got a little over 5 gallons in it. I had 2 jars of Y yeast 1056 yeast in the fridge that had been in there for a couple of months that were washed. And I figured, there we go with the phone again. I figured I wasn't going to probably use them both, and both of them didn't have a super thick layer, so what I did is made a 1.5 liter starter, and I just decanted both of them and pitched them both in there. So this beer is still chugging away. This is my hydrometer sample. It's already down to 1.006, so the yeast is definitely chugging away and drying that beer out. I'm going to let it go probably there was still a good amount of bubbles and krausen at the top. So I think I'm going to let that go for probably another day or two, and then I'm going to dry hop it. So anyhow, let's give this a try. So, all right. I get a little bit of bitterness, a little bit of hop flavor. I'm more just getting the alcohol smell off it right now. This is straight out of the fermenter, so it doesn't taste too bad at this point. And I think it still maybe has a few more thousandths to go down. So I will probably take another sample on Friday and see if it's still moving. If I look at my numbers real quickly, this thing started at 1050, so it's already down to 1006. So if it still goes down a little bit further, I was shooting for right around 5%, so I certainly don't need this to go down a whole lot further. And so back to the whole dry hopping thing, Kevin from, Clement's Homebrewing and Colorado Fly Fisherman, that's a big shout out to you. I appreciate you doing the question and answer video. If you guys haven't seen it, go to my hop updates, see his responses. He did a video response to me, so if you go to his, you will see he did a nice question and answer video response to me about hops on when to harvest them. And then he also added a podcast from the Brewing Network, which I listen to once in a while, but I missed that one last year. So I went back and listened to the whole thing where they talk about using hops straight off the vine. So what am I thinking about doing? I'm thinking in a couple of days I may go ahead and harvest some of my Cascade and use that for my dry hopping for this beer. The only thing is, I don't know if I'm going to have enough. So what I want to do is probably pull off a good amount of them, and this is something you guys can do. What I did is I pulled off one of my cones. At first I squeezed it and made sure it was springy and papery sounding, which it was. And you guys can hear that on my video. And then what I did is I ripped it in half and smelled it. Holy crap, it smelled like lemon and grapefruit. It was just an awesome smell. Fantastic. I had both my kids smell it too, and they agreed they could smell like lemon and things like that. So it was like a lemony, grapefruity type smell to it. So I'm thinking about harvesting a bunch of those, but my guess is it's not going to be very much, once I weigh it all up. So I may go ahead and just dump all that into a carboy, and then dump another ounce or two of pellets in there as well of Cascade. So it's still going to be all Cascade for my smash beer, but it's going to be maybe a third whole, and then maybe 2/3 pellet. I just don't think there's going to be enough there for a brew. So, but we'll see as the year goes on. There's still some more growing on there. And I still have my Centennial as well going. So that's just my thought of what I'm going to do with those. Other than that, I'm going to flip over to a quick garden update where I just talk about a few other things like tomatoes, bell peppers, strawberries. I ignored my rhubarb because my rhubarb was planted from my neighbor's garden, and I just not sure if we're going to get anything this year off it. And then I just show the hops again real quickly. And then I'm also going to show you first a quick shot of what I just did with my 1 gallon batch of hard cider, and then I'll be back with you guys. I'm taking a quick hard cider reading. I'm just want to make sure it's where it needs to be, and then I want to dry hop it. And from what I can tell, yeah, it looks like this is below 1.00. Let me do it one more time, but I think it's more than low enough. I don't know if this will focus on that or not, but just trying to get an idea here. It's looking like it's about 0.996. Yeah, maybe 0.997. I'll double check that, but yeah, definitely fermented down low enough, and I'm going to go ahead and dry hop this. Okay, the other thing I did is I decided to use a hydrometer to measure these. I went ahead and sanitized it because I figured you know, it might be a little easier to pour them into a 1 gallon demijohn that way. So again, that's just 1 ounces of my Cascade. You know, here's the one that I'm going to siphon out of, and then this is the one I've been sanitizing. I've had sanitizer in here for a couple of days, so I'm going to dump it out and drain it, and then start racking it. Then I'll put the hops in it and then rack into it. Okay, there's my cider transferred over. It's been dry hopped with 1 ounce of Cascade. Just kind of stuck in between my smash beer and my Pinot Noir. So I'm going to let it sit like this for 7 days, and then I will bottle it. Okay, this is just my weekly garden update that I'm doing. So let me hop over my fence. See, I've had ground squirrel issues too, so I got a little trap in there. Let's start with the tomatoes. I don't know what the problem is, but I've had tons and tons of tomatoes on here for a long time. You can see there's even another one growing there. Just tons of tomatoes. You can even look at this one. You can see, oh, you know what? Actually, one is down there turning a little bit. These things have been green for a long time, but there's one down there that is starting to turn a little bit. But the majority of mine, for some reason, are being real stubborn this year and staying green. You know, I'll keep watching these for a while to see if they do turn soon. You know, we have so many of those that I'm hoping to get a pretty good amount of them. Now we can switch over to the jalapenos. For whatever reason, I picked a couple of jalapenos off this, and they're being absolutely stubborn. I have gotten absolutely zero coming back. Now we can switch over to strawberries. You can see there's a nice strawberry that probably can be picked. Those maybe need a few more days. Looks like something got into that one. But, you know, strawberries are definitely coming along nicely. As long as I can beat the animals to them. So, and you can see right there are some side shoots from strawberries. Here's some more side shoots from the strawberries. So, something tells me next year I'm going to have a whole crap load of strawberries. Now, if we move on to bell peppers, you can see I'm getting some big bell peppers in here. And okay, so this one's starting to get some on it finally. This one nothing. You can see this one here. A couple nice big ones, but so far, as you can see, these are supposed to be red. So just like the tomatoes, I'm waiting for all these bell peppers to convert. And then I already did a hop update on Monday, so there's just another quick look at the hops. You can see I'm getting tons of them. Tons and tons of cones. And I'm pretty sure a lot of my Cascade are getting to the point to where they're ready, and I'll talk about that some more. And then there's the Centennial. So there's a real quick garden update, and that's it. Alright, there you guys have it. There's some updates. And man, if I would have thought about it, maybe those Cascade hops would have been great for dry hopping the cider, because it's a 1 gallon batch. That might have been the perfect amount I didn't even think of. Nonetheless, I'll let you guys know if I do a Beer Fun Friday, if the fermenter is where I want it, then maybe at that point I will just go ahead and dump everything in a carboy and then transfer it over and dry hop with all that. So we shall wait and see. But again, I want to give a big shout out to Colorado Fly Fisherman. Your question and answer, if you guys haven't seen it yet, please go watch it, because it was very helpful to me. And then turning around and listening to that whole podcast, I have a much larger understanding of hops now, as far as when they should be harvested and when they shouldn't. So other than that, I don't want to ramble on too long. I don't want this to be a real long video. Cheers. I'm slowly sucking this down, even though this doesn't have a crap load of flavor yet. But I'll finish it off anyhow. I'm not going to waste a sample. Other than that, I want you guys to have a happy Homebrew Wednesday. I've already watched a bunch of yours, and I'm going to watch some more tonight. So, cheers.